All right, go for it.
Good morning, everyone. It's the one and only notorious, glorious Simeon, whatever I am. It's Monday, Siege. It's Monday. What can I do, bro?
It's Monday. We lost an hour of sleep. I mean,
Oh
come on.
my God, it's the worst. I woke up Sunday like, what the hell? I totally forgot about moving my alarm clock 1 hour forward. So I woke up, man. I'm just beat tired, dude. When I'm trying to get into it, I'm just like I'm instead of getting into the day is getting into me, bro. It really is.
You wouldn't think that it would make that big of a difference, but when you're getting up in the morning and it's like pitch dark, you're taking the kids to
It's the
school. Now, I,
worst.
I do enjoy during the summer having the sun and having the daylight to like 9 or 10 o'clock at night. I do enjoy that, but during the school year, it can be a pain in
Yep.
the rear.
Oh, it's getting close to spring. That means it's time for the gorilla to get in shape. That's what it means.
Yeah, all of us. Yeah,
All of us,
definitely.
man. I feel energized in the springtime. It's funny when you're younger, right? When you're younger, winter was great. I get up at 5 a.m., hit the gym, start my day, and when you're older, it's just like, damn, you just staying in bed more. Your hips are hurting. Oh man. All right, we're here Monday. Anyway, folks, roguemoney.net. That's where you can find us. Roguemoney.net. And also check out rogue420.net for all your cannabis news and information. We have some exciting things lined up for Rogue 420, and keep it locked over there. And folks, you could also check out our sponsors, RemainCalm.net. RemainCalm.net. Listen, folks. Listen to me now. Life is all about leverage. Wealth is all about leverage. Now, I don't care if it doesn't matter to me and it doesn't matter to the team over at Remain Calm what your credit score is. If you got a low credit score, hey, they can fix it, get you up there. Okay. Look, I'm going to have a guy on again. His name is Jim. He's one of our many clients, testimonials. Okay. It's going to blow your mind away. It's going to blow your mind away about what Remain Calm has done for him, changing his credit score, changing his life. Okay, changing his life. Or your credit score is great. You need to get some money to whatever, start a business. Maybe you yourself want to do your small part of making America great again. Whether it is to get funds to start your own crypto investing, or buying or starting a business, or doing whatever. Maybe you're like me. Maybe you're thinking to yourself, man, $600,000. How many Porsche 911s could I buy with that kind of money? Maybe you're doing that. Maybe you're saying to yourself, man, $600,000. How many watches? How many Rolex Submariners could I buy? How many Patek Philippe's can I acquire? Well, whatever it is, whatever tickles your fancy. Okay, maybe your name is Walid, and you're thinking how many goats it can get you. That's a lot of goats. CJ, $600,000. That buys you a lot of goats, doesn't it?
A lot of goats. I mean, you can
Yeah.
you can you can raise them. You could even, like, if you wanted to breed them, you could. I mean, there's so much potential that you could do with that.
And if you're in certain parts of the world, like in certain regions of Afghanistan, not only can you breed your goats, you could also breed with your goats if you'd like. I mean, $600,000 is a life-changing amount of money. 50 grand ain't gonna do jack diddly for you, but 600K, that's a life. That's like lottery. That's like lottery levels of cash. Okay, lottery levels of cash. If you know how to invest it. Look, there are people that go ahead and they get their loans from Remain Calm, and then they go right to the crypto school, join the crypto school, learn how to trade and make a killing. Folks, we got so many client feedbacks. My God, we're going to post it on the site. We're going to do screenshots of the actual communications. We're going to blot out the people's last names so you don't see it, but it's actual screenshots from actual client, real stuff, not these fake ass reviews. These, there's a particular alt media site. They sell all sorts of nutritional products, and they'll have this new product, Super Snake Oil 1000, and I'm like, okay, it's a new product. How come it has 10,000 reviews, 5 out of 5 stars? It's such a bullshit product. Out of curiosity, being that I have a degree, an undergrad in clinical nutrition from the University of Montclair in the state of New Jersey, I ordered one of these said products to value it on myself, of course, and me being somebody who's very attuned to his physiology, tried one of these products that supposedly enhances testosterone and makes you bigger and bulkier and this, that, and the other, and give you virility. You know what it did to me, Siege?
What did V?
Nothing.
Crazy.
Nothing. Did a pre and post measurement of my testosterone per deciliter of blood. My total serum testosterone levels, it's unchanged. Didn't do nothing. Didn't do nothing. I'm a guy who's like practically almost 40 years old. Didn't do nothing to me. So just goes to show, folks. Just goes to show. So we're not out there, giving out bullshit products like that. We're actually telling you, real solutions between our crypto trading room, Remain Calm, Rogue 420. We're gonna have some real awesome stuff out there, made right here in the United States of America. And I'm also excited. I think come June, I'm gonna be introducing a new sponsor. It's going to be completely made in the USA, supporting small businesses, made in the USA products for mothers and for babies, expectant mothers, pregnant mothers, whatever it is. Whether everything from kids furniture to breast pads to whatever the heck you need, all organic, all made by hand right here in the United States, only US vendors.
Nice.
It's an exciting company. It's all about supporting the U.S. That's what it's all about, man. So I'm excited. So we're bringing in real products, real solutions, real things that change people's lives, make a difference and a dent in this economy. And that's what it's all about, not BS snake oil crap. Anyway, with that all out of the way, Siege, what's crack-lacking, brother?
Hey, I'm doing great, V. Had a great weekend. I had an opportunity Saturday evening to attend a function. Like it was called the Night of Laughs, and it supported a wonderful organization. And if they're involved in your community, learn about it. It's called the Best Buddies program, and Best Buddies particularly work with schools, help with disabled kids, become a friend. So it was a great event, a lot of fun, very inspiring. So if you're involved in any type of school administration or you have kids in school, take a moment. If there's any type of Best Buddies activities, they do some cool stuff.
Best Buddies. That sounds awesome, bro. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, Tim Tebow's involved with it. Part of his foundation helped actually fund the beginning of it. And they started, and one of the really cool things that they do is called an adaptive prom night. And it's a prom night built around inclusive of kids of all abilities.
Nice.
And there's several. There's several families.
I thought you were about to say kids of all genders. I had to brace. I mean, see, we're living in, bro. I mean, it's terrifying.
This isn't the Department of Defense. Yeah, so I had a great weekend, and how was yours, V?
It was good, man. I was being the aquatic ape. Took my family out to a resort just for the weekend as a weekend getaway. Just swim around. It's in one of the bigger indoor water park / resort areas in the Northeast, and I had a good time, man. I was just floating around the lazy river, watching my kiddo, the little monkey, run all over the place. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Nice,
it was really good. You gotta, it was a very restful weekend, and ate like a pig. I feel extremely bloated this morning. I'm still recovering, and this clock moving 1 hour forward is certainly not helping the situation, man. Certainly not helping.
No, I completely get it. And, it's amazing to watch some of the news cycle and, James, the Russian analyst. And, I love our team because constantly on the weekend, they're sending us great information to review, to go over. And I'd like to start with this entire Theresa May to blame Russia for the nerve gas attack and just the level of stupidity. And this reminds me of the same thing that occurred, with 9/11, how when that occurred, the U.S. was real quick to try to get every country aboard, this coalition to come together. But this just makes absolutely no sense to me.
CJ, my name is George W. Bush. I created a coalition of the willing. That's what it is. It's like a tribal sovereignty. It's like a sovereign entity, and the coalition of the willing is a willing coalition of great nations like Angola, Uganda, Brunei. The Sultan of Brunei, CJ, is He's a good friend of mine, and we went out there, and we're gonna make sure that Saddam Hussein, Saddam Hussein, he doesn't do that because nuclear is an option. CJ, yeah. But yeah, exactly, Doug. Exactly.
Yeah, so barely after UK Home Secretary Amber Rudd warned the country not to jump to conclusions about who was behind a nerve gas attack on former Russian double agent, appears Prime Minister Theresa May is about to do just that. In a late-breaking report, The Sun confirmed that May is preparing to name Russia as the perpetrator of the attack against Sergei Skripal. Is that his last name?
Yes,
a spy who was turned over to the UK in 2010 as part of a swap with Russia after receiving confirmation from her intelligence chiefs. So again, the blame game with Russia continues.
First of all, it's way too sloppy to be the Russians. If the Russians wanted to hit you, they'd hit you. You wouldn't even know it. You wouldn't even know it happening. You just get whacked. The whole thing of him gassing. This is such a sloppy job. I don't even know where to begin. It's such a sloppy job. But this is the hysteria that a curmudgeon like Theresa May, a dish rag of a woman, an absolute dish rag, spineless woman who is in the process of doing whatever she can to sabotage the will of the people in the UK. You see, when I got back early afternoon yesterday, Sunday, I just, briefly perused the news. I'm looking at the headlines. And I'm looking at all the entire thing with what's the biggest trending issues amongst the Western countries. And every single trending issue is, if it's not, it used to be gay rights. Now it's all transgendered and the 54 million genders and this, that, and the other. And I say to myself, this is what we're devolving into in the West. And the reason why I bring that up is this. We in the West, and I'm talking about the clear-thinking, mature adults in the West, if we don't stand up and put a stop to this normalization of mental illness, to the normalization of degeneracy, then we've lost our civilization. Because I tell you wholeheartedly, the rest of the world does not think, nor do they put value on such stupidity, the likes of which that we are engaged in. When a nation devolves, you would often find politicians like a Hillary Clinton, a Bill Clinton, a Theresa May, any one of these characters, you name them, rise to the top, because this is the type of environment that attracts them like blood attracts a shark. It's a feeding frenzy. It's a feeding frenzy, and you are the main course. It is your life efforts and the fruits of your labor that has been chumming the water for these politicians to devour you for the last several decades. And we, the adults, we, the men and women of this great nation, have awoken to the fact that our future and that of our progenies is at risk. Do you understand that, folks? Do you understand that? You see, these idiots like Theresa May would continue to provoke Russia. Putin, in his State of the Union address, said this. He said, after unveiling the most horrific, most incredible weapon systems known to man, nuclear missiles that are powered by nuclear energy that can literally fly around perpetually forever. I mean, think of how crazy that is. That's like science fiction, but it's science fact, right? Because the Russians have, if you don't know this, they've been at the forefront of miniaturizing nuclear propulsion. It's crazy. And he said to the Western journalists and those that could be listening, he said, if they did not listen to us before in speaking about the anti-ballistic missile treaty and the withdrawal of the ABM missile treaty. He said, if they have not listened to us before, they will listen to us now. That's what he said. And yet you have this idiot Theresa May blaming a gas attack on Russia. You have shenanigans happening all over the place. This is ridiculous. Folks, if we don't stop this madness, you see, it's only the banksters who are so convoluted. It's only those who've never suffered in life. It's always those who've never been in a fight, who's never been punched, who's never been in a tussle, who's never faced hardship, starvation, destitution. It's only those silver-spooned banksters who think that they can set off a nuclear world war and they themselves come out unscathed. They are idiots, blinded by hubris, fueled by the very devil himself. And that's the problem we have here, Siege. That's the problem. We're on the precipice with one foot on the ledge and the other foot on the banana. But I'm sure there's a breadcrumb about to be dropped somewhere.
Yeah, it was it was quite a shame. I watched the Megyn Kelly interview with Vladimir Putin, and what an opportune time, right? You're in the room, have an opportunity to interview probably one of the most influential persons in the world.
The greatest statesman of our time is Vladimir Putin.
And you're going to spend an hour and a half and do nothing but Russian collusion. You're meeting with General Kelly. All this crap that the MSM continues to throw forth towards Russia. I don't understand how globally the level of stupidity that makes. Now, I'm not saying that MSM represents us, V, but there's so much better conversation. You imagine if we had the opportunity to interview Vladimir Putin in an hour and a half to talk about their infrastructure, their farming programs, their medical reach, and some of the things they've achieved there in Russia. My gosh, there's so much better things that could have came out of that conversation. It was very difficult to listen to because, again, it's a Megyn Kelly type attack and just very disappointed. I'm not even sure why she's even labeled or calls herself a journalist, V.
She's a hack. She's a bedwench of the New World Order. She's a hack. And she's just another talking headpiece. She has no intelligence. That is a girl. That is a woman who's been on the casting couch for way too long. She's been on the casting couch and, sucked her way to the top, brother. That's all I got to say. Literally. There's no reason for that idiot to be there when there are far more qualified, more intelligent women. How come, people got to ask yourself, how come nobody's thrown out Coulter or show? Right? And Coulter would be absolutely savage. She'd be absolutely savage on a show. But nobody called because, she's actually an intelligent woman. You don't want an intelligent woman. You want a bimbo. You want a bimbo and an idiot guy or a female bimbo to go out there and pose questions and act like a retard, act like that they're smart. And so Putin just toyed with her like a kitten, like a cat playing with a mouse. Just toyed with her. He even said things mockingly. So you're a hacking expert now. You're a computer expert. You would know. You can see the look. Megyn Kelly was so outclassed. The fact that this idiot Megyn Kelly was at the St. Petersburg Economic Forum in front of world leaders, in front of captains of industry. This bimbo was out there asking the most insane questions, and Putin was just literally laughing at her, and everybody in the audience was laughing at her. Do you remember that, Siege?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
This is what we have. You see, this is called yellow journalism. There was a time when the media, like lapdogs for the military incompetent complex, will try to sell you a war. They're trying to sell us a war. I mean, they're failing miserably, but they're trying desperately to sell us a war. They want us to buy into this. Ooh, the Russia is the greatest threat to democracy. Ooh, if an American actually went to Russia for a week, you'd be shocked. If you found out how many more freedoms Russians have today than we do today, you'd be angered. You would be horrified. I'm pissed off at the fact that, rogue media group that we didn't incorporate in Moscow, because it'd be far easier. There'd be no taxes to pay. Over here, you're choked. The life is choked out of you. The life is totally choked out of you while the banksters continue to play their games. It's unbelievable, man. It's simply unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. It is. And there's a lot of signs pointing towards what's happening. I'm not sure if you read last week where Toys R Us was not able to secure anyone to purchase up the debt-ridden company. So they are shuttering all their U.S. operations and closing, all the stores entirely. I think that has a lot to say with the credit market and what's happening with the dollar V.
It's huge. Absolutely huge. A dollar funding crisis is imminent. LIBOR OIS blows out the most since 2012. Folks, what have I been saying since 2012? Is we have a solvency crisis. There's a liquidity crisis. Money velocity is the lowest it's been since 1972. Here's our guys over at Zero Hedge. Great article here. Call it the latest paradox of bizarro centrally planned markets on the same day when the NASDAQ hit a new all-time high, when the Dow soared, and when the payrolls report reincarnated the Goldilocks narrative with one flashing red average hourly earnings headline. Quote, surging jobs plus subdued wage growth equals an economy that can handle a 10-year yields at above 3%. One of the most closely followed leading indicators of an imminent funding crisis, and global credit crunch finally broke above its 6-year range. When the USD LIBOR OIS spread jumped 2 basis points on Friday, rising above 44.23 basis points. This was the widest key spread has been since January 2012, when the latest European sovereign debt crisis was roiling the markets and forced the Fed to open unlimited swap lines. Remember that, guys? Remember that back in 2012? I remember it. Unlimited swap lines. Why? Because they want to make sure they can take as much toxic debt off the balance sheets of the European banks. Question, folks. What the hell is the American Central Bank doing helping European banks? What the hell's going on? Has anybody asked that question? No. Do you guys remember when I think it was one of the representatives, congressman, Democrat from Florida, asked Bernanke back in 2012, asked him straight out, where's $2.3 trillion unaccounted for? Why was it sent to Europe? Oh, we can't discuss that with you. Now you know why, because there were swap lines that were open. Why were those swap lines open? Because they were able to print up the money and stuff the balance sheets. Stuffing the balance sheets so the European banks could create more fractional reserve. They can go ahead and lend out more. In effect, they bailed out the world, according to the BIS, is synthetically short the USD to the tune of over $10 trillion for the second time in 4 years. The move will come as a surprise to regular readers, as we've been covering it extensively since 2017. Yours truly has been covering it a lot longer. However, while the overall move wider was expected, the speed of the blow has taken out most of the analysts by surprise, and the result has been a scramble to explain not only the reasons behind the move, but its sharp severity. While this is a simplification of the various catalysts behind the spike in the LIBOR OIS, here is a quick summary of what is going on. An increase in short-term T-bill issuance. Folks, remember what I told you since 2012. There's a bubble in the bond market. It's a bubble in the bond market. Nobody wants to talk about it. Everybody's walking on eggshells, acting like it's totally normal, but it's fracturing. There's a rising outflow pressure on dollar deposits in the U.S. owing to rising short-term rates. Exactly, because people are looking for safe harbors. Now they smell blood in the water. Repatriation to cope with the U.S. Tax Cuts and Job Act and the new trade policies and concerns on dollar liquidity outside of the U.S., which is rapidly declining. Risk premium for uncertainty of U.S. monetary policy. Recently elevated credit spreads. Think about that. Recently elevated credit spreads. Credit default swaps of the banks increasing. Why? Because when you don't have the liquidity, you're going to have all types of credit spreads. You're going to have all types of financial chicanery, all sorts of derivatives to fill those balance sheets, to create magic liquidity. Okay? To create magic liquidity. Now, risk premium. I mean, demand for funds in preparation for market stress. In other words, these guys are they know something's wrong. They know something's wrong. They know that there's something wrong. There's a problem in the dollar. There's a problem in the bond market. There's a problem in the repo market. There's a problem in the interest rate swap market with the CDSs and CDOs. In the derivative market, there's issues. So what do you do? What do? You start demanding for funds, but there is no funds. There is no funds.
Yeah, there's a great movie. Obviously, everyone's probably more familiar with The Big Short, but there's another movie called Margin Call. Have you seen that, B?
Yep, great one right there.
Yeah, Margin Call is a great movie that kind of explains with the mortgage-backed securities, the bundling, how they were literally like selling at one end and turning around buying on the other. And there's only so long that you can do that. And it was really eye-opening at some of the calls that these big hedge fund managers do to get rid of some of these toxic asset comes time. And what's going to happen is we learned from 2008 when that went through. Well, the next time that happens, I don't know where the buyers are going to come from, but it's not going to be pretty at all.
No, it's not going to be pretty. And folks, the LIBOR OIS spread, and OIS is basically the overnight index swap rate. Okay, what that simply means for the lame person is this: the dollar is getting very expensive and costly and time-consuming to fund. In other words, folks, they've been running the machinery for so long and doing all these mental accounting gymnastics to make this whole entire system work. When you see a spike in the LIBOR OIS spread, all it means is that the machinery is running its course. There's not much more tricks that it can do. When you see this, it spells crisis systemically. Systemically, it spells crisis. Folks, remember I said this. I said the dollar will die overseas before it happens over here. So what are they going to do with this? What are they going to do? What are the algo pushers going to do? I'll tell you what. They're gonna move that market up higher. They're gonna move that market up higher. They're gonna move it to 30,000 points. They're going to move to 29,000 or 30,000 points. You're going to see a retractment of the dollar index. You see, the BIS is short right now, the dollar. So the next few weeks, you're going to see a dumping of the dollar. The next few weeks, you're going to see the dollar dip to the lower points you've ever seen. You're going to see probably a market pullback. Then you're going to see more people jumping out of the bonds. And then when the market's pulled back even more, we might even go down to, I mean, where's the Dow at right now, Siege? Let me see. Let me see where this ridiculous market's at right now.
I think the futures were pointing up, but let me see.
All right, yeah, we're at 25,000. I mean, it's up. Yeah, it's up 70 points basically. 25,000. You could probably see at 20 sell off more. Maybe you see a 5,000 point shed. That's possible. I'm not saying it's going to happen. It's possible, right? It's possible, but you could also see a run up. This is a retractment for a run up, and the run up will be in equities. It will be in commodities, and it will be in cryptos. That's the next run. Get ready for it. Systemically, the rest of the world sees this message and they say to themselves, okay, we got to get out of the dollar. And they will. And they will. That's why I said the American economy will implode with a 30,000 point Dow. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I've seen this movie before, Steve. It doesn't end well.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, forget about calling Saul. You better call Gus.
Right. I mean, they're completely corrupt. Let me bring up the article real quick. Yeah. So we're learning how the state of Illinois funds its teacher pension funds, and basically what it amounts to is the highest amount of dollars going towards the most influential school districts, where they pretty much can kind of name their pension fund based upon how high they drive their salaries, and it's all at the expense of who? The taxpayer. I mean, it's no wonder Illinois is just completely, ass backwards in terms of their pensions, their state budget. But I like the example the article gives. So imagine you're at dinner with a bunch of friends, and it's one of the situations where you hope that the tab is going to be, passed around. So you're y'all having drinks, beers, and at the end, someone says they're going to start to expense their beer, their alcohol portion of it. So then that other person learns that person's going to be expensing their portion of the bill. And what do you have over time? You have just a big bloated program. So Illinois' regressive pension funding scheme, the wealthiest school districts benefit the most. Most Illinoisans don't know Dr. Ray Leshner, the retiring superintendent of Wilmette School District 39, but they should. After all, Illinoisans have been contributing to his upcoming $6.6 million pension for years.
But we don't have the money, CJ. We don't have the money to put armed security guards in schools to prevent active shooter drills. We don't have the money to do that.
And even though he's an employee of Wilmette School District, not the state. So you can kind of see it. There's a table here where it perfectly breaks down, his average salary, which is bloated to begin with. It lists the number of years, 33 years. The average percent of final salary payout determines the starting position, which at this point, 72.6%. So needless to say, when you measure that annual pension amount, you can see the table of the number of years into retirement where his salary determines the pension payout. The school district does not fund that. It's on the back of the taxpayers. And this individual's approximate total pension payout is $6.6 million. Just ridiculous. And the thing is, the state legislatures are blocking any type of reform. So they understand that this is ridiculous. And most states do. When you look at teachers' retirement pension funds, some of those funds are directly tied to the state, helping to fund some of those, but not at the level of this, where they are just raising and bloating the salaries just for the sake of retirement. In our school district, for example, there's a pension match, but it comes directly from the school corporation, not the state. And it's just no wonder Illinois' ass backwards with all these programs. V.
That really is, man. And it goes to show what I've been saying for quite some time. If you want to know where the money's being spent in schools, just go drive to the parking lot of the superintendent's district office. Just go drive by the district's main office, and you will see some of the most lavish luxury cars. I mean, hell, man, I've been to you go to some places here in the Northeast, you'll find Maseratis parked in the superintendent's parking lots. It's ridiculous. For what is their purpose? To destroy the educational system in the United States, to make our kids dumber than ever. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And some of the calls that they make, like, for example, we had a superintendent change. Of course, we recruited someone from outside the state, gave them a huge salary. When it came time to redistrict our schools, because we needed to, because of the growth, what did he do? Instead of looking for an Indiana company that specifically knew about some of the demographic changes in terms of the growth, the area, he hired a outside of the state, back in his home state where he came from, consulting company, paid them millions of dollars that screwed it up, that completely missed the target. I mean, it's not like these people are geniuses, right? They're coming into these types of positions and paying these outlandish salaries, where then you have the school teachers who earn a very modest salary, who are there day to day with the kids, educating, working with the parents. And again, all of the money, the top portion of it goes directly towards the school administration and their very healthy salaries.
Absolutely. And that's why it's like, if you're in Illinois is a state that is also under a pension crisis. They have massive unfunded liabilities. And if you're one of those employees that are in Illinois, you work for the state and whatnot, and you have an option to either take your salary or take your 401k, and you're worried about leaving it in some hands of some fund manager, and you feel empowered to, take life by the horns and, put your own destiny into your own hands and have your own self-directed retirement fund, just call Gus Demas or Will Lear over at perpetualassets.com. Will and Gus will help you guys out. So, you better call Gus.
Yeah, absolutely. Any type of state funded pension fund. If you're retired and there's a way that you can move it over, I would definitely recommend that at this point.
All right. So what's going on? Hold on. I got to cue the music. Hold on,
Okay.
Siege. Hold on. I got to do this. You know what time it is now, Siege? You know what we're going to be bringing up right now, man.
I think the audience knows what's coming forth.
You know what's coming. When I say cue up the music, okay? I think I'm going to have to cue it up, brother. Here we go.
All right. In Venezuela, the petro reaches 5 billion in free cells. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro said the petro had straightened the country's international reserves. Who knows if the oil is truly there? Who knows where this petro is going?
Keep going, see, this is great.
No. Yeah. So the world's national cryptocurrency based on natural resources has generated sales of over $5 billion during its pre-sale period and has recorded over 186 sales of petrol has also significantly strengthened and increased international aggression. The U.S. has went on to state that be mindful. The U.S. Treasury Department stated that the petrol to be an extension of credit of the Venezuelan government, a measure forbidden by U.S. sanctions, and that U.S. persons in dealing with prospective Venezuelan digital currency may be exposed to U.S. sanctions risk. So good luck, Maduro. Hopefully your ICO goes well and you deliver on those tokens raised.
Oh my God. I mean, can we even believe anything coming out of the Maduro's government?
Yeah, I mean, to shore up their currency and raising this amount, 5 billion, who knows what an asset that's going to be, based upon. Yeah, they say that they're going to back it, with their oil industry. They're so much in debt, they'll probably blow through that amount in probably less than 6 months, V.
Yeah, if they even have that amount, that's the funny thing. It's not even an open blockchain; it's a closed blockchain. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's a Ponzi scheme to enrich Nicolas Maduro's pockets. Nicolas, the sweetness, the bus driver, the Maduro, is a multi-billionaire right now. He's a multi-billionaire. He's a nobody. He's an idiot this is a guy who couldn't run a lemonade stand. Okay, this is a guy who should be, in a bus station sucking diesel fumes. All right, working on a bus or something like that for the rest of his life. This guy's leading a country. This guy's leading an OPEC leading nation. I mean, look. Here's the thing: people get the government they deserve. If the Venezuelans are that damn stupid that you are living in a resource-rich country, but yet you morons are starving to death, you freaking idiotic socialist morons, then you deserve that because you're an idiot. You're a moron. Okay? They can't overthrow Nicolas, the sweetness Maduro. They can't see for themselves. And this is what happens when you take the ne'er-do-wells and you elevate them to higher levels. and you make it easy for them. This is what happens when socialism comes to roost.
Oh yeah, 1000%.
You know, you think socialism is great? And they can't see if Venezuela cannot learn from the fact that socialism is an abject failure, then there's no hope for them. I mean, dude, Venezuela is so resource rich. They're starving. They're eating their pets. They're getting into a bridge on the border and crossing this border into Colombia looking for food. I mean, how stupid are these people?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And build that wall is all I gotta say, man. We need that wall up ASAP. We don't want any these freaking low IQ curmudgeons coming up here. No way.
Right. And a lot of people say, hey, that can never happen here in America. But trust me, if Hillary were in office, we'd be definitely one step closer. And we're still getting rumblings of what that socialist program could be here in America. If you take a look at some of the massive expansions of some of the state dependencies that they're based upon, and now they're talking about this pay that Oakland is doing. What's that called again? The
universal income.
The universal income. Those are the types of programs that lead to socialisms. When people become so dependent upon the state, they lose the sight, they lose the ability to fight back against the state because they become so dependent upon the system.
Exactly correct, man. Exactly correct. Anyway, I guess we'll leave the last bit of discussion for our main man, London Paul, who's going to be with us in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. We're real excited, so don't go too far. 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. London Paul, the Sears Report. I've seen his topics. You don't want to miss this. It's going to be a great show.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got to check with the Crypto Boys, see if they want to do a show later today at 1 p.m. So keep it posted here, folks. We might or might not, depending on how things go, for a Rogue Coin show. So we'll see what's going on. With that being said, we're over and out. Take it away, El Cuco.